Welcome to the Public Works Committee meeting, September 9th, 2025. At 7:40 PM, we're starting. Sheila Vaccaro is with me and Brian Travis. That's our call to order. Are there any announcements in the room? Seeing none. Comments, suggestions, petitions by residents, taxpayers, and visitors in attendance regarding items not on the agenda. Please state your name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes to speak. Tara.
Hi, Tara O'Neill, 433 West Minor Street. First, I would just like to start by thanking Public Works. 2 weeks ago, I called Public Works, Bernie, Police Department. I walk my son to school every morning to Hillsdale. The way to enter the school is actually on Bradford and Gay. A lot of cars don't realize that. It's a free for all. We almost got hit. I mean, we got hit almost 2 days in a row the first week of school. I commend you guys for coming out, putting up little signs, repaving, but it's a bad situation. I don't think that the school district is looking at it from the outside in that the little flashing lights are actually on. I don't know if that continues as Market Street when you hit and cross Bradford, but they're hidden and you can't go straight because there's no sidewalk there. So I'm just asking if we can just have a conversation. I know that, is it West Bradford or West Bradford's involved, the borough's involved, the school district's involved. If we could just come up with a safer way to get kids to school. There's no way that kids could walk to school on their own. I literally play Frogger because where I come up on Market Street, you make the right on Bradford. It's not a true crossing box. The crosswalk is actually across the street from me. So I have to walk straight and cars here are trying to beat me. And then I literally have to stop, do a hip check, make sure they're not going to run you over. So, I mean, pedestrians do have the right of way, but there's a lot of jerks that drive. So just looking to come up with solutions, ways that we can just make it safer. And this isn't something new. I mean, my oldest is in 9th grade now, so I've been doing this walk.
Tara and I went to Hillsdale
Yes,
together.
we were Hillsdale Hooters.
And we were Hillsdale Hooters, and we were not allowed to walk to that school. It was not permissible. Nobody was allowed to walk to that school. It is ridiculous because it's right there, and there's so many people who could walk, and it's so much healthier to walk. And I did not walk my kids there because it's a mess.
Yeah.
So anything we could do, I'm in full support. I'm sorry. Thank you.
One thing to note, I do believe because the school district is providing us a bus, that is their way of getting out of having a crosswalker at the location. I don't think that a crosswalker is needed, but I would love for just a flashing light from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. If you go by Giant, they have very prominent flashing lights. Just something to bring more attention to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to Public Works' credit, they've gone out there and they put down lines on the street that have reflective glass in it. So as it becomes dusk, the headlights can reflect off the crosswalks. They've moved some of the signs around so that you could actually see the triangle or a yellow sign. They put arrows pointing to the crosswalk area. I sat there a couple mornings just to see if it was working. Oh, there's also 2 signs as you approach the intersection. It says 15 miles an hour with kids crossing on it. Unfortunately, and I talked to Tara in depth about this, and she used the word jerk. There are some jerks out there that just don't care, and they use it as they don't stop unless someone's in the middle of the crosswalk, and sometimes that could be too late. you know, a blinking light, I don't, you know, that would be probably on the school district. But to your point, you were never allowed to walk there. And Tara says that the school district doesn't encourage it either. So I don't think we're going to get anywhere with the school district as far as that's concerned, the sign.
School district did not permit us to walk.
Yeah.
When we were going there, we were told not, they've changed that. They're the Huskies now and they
Yeah.
allow walking. It's wonderful, but allowing walking and providing walkable paths are two very different things.
You guys walked uphill 5 miles in the snow each way.
We were stuffed on a bus, even if we lived across the street.
Well, I'm just checking that uphill both ways.
We went over to Shanahan when there's a bomb threat. It was super fun.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Tara, for stopping in. I move on to reports, Public Works, 2026 budget. Oh, excuse me. Any other comments on it?
I have a comment,
Yes.
actually. It's a public safety issue. I'm wondering if it should be discussed in that committee on that agenda.
It has been with Kyle Hudson since January. Yeah, it's been on that committee. And they actually asked for a traffic study as well as Mr. O'Neill asked for a traffic study. I don't think it's going to go any further than what it is now. Public Works is really up their game at that area. It's up to the school district.
I was just wondering maybe if we could get a police car there for a couple drop-offs and pickups for just to send a signal there. I don't know, it'd be up to public safety.
On their agenda for since January, I believe. Thank you. Mr. Edwards, please, you're going to give us your 2026 anticipated budget.
Yes. Good evening. The focus of tonight's presentation is the 2026 budget. When it comes to budgets, I'd like to start with the level of service the Public Works is providing based on feedback from residents, council, and internal staff. We appear to be operating at a satisfactory level of service. For this reason, we are only proposing minor changes to how we operate.
Excuse me, Mr. Edwards, do you have an attachment or are you just going to read?
I don't. I'm going to read it because our budget, draft budget is not finished.
Okay, very good.
Good enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
What I am going to show you is when we get to the Capitol,
Yeah,
that'll be.
I just didn't know because it wasn't up there. So
Yeah, I started with a PowerPoint, but then I couldn't.
it's okay.
Yeah. all right.
I understand. I just didn't want you being, disrespected with all the work you're putting into it.
Oh,
That's all.
thank you.
Thanks.
Yep. Okay, so for this reason, we're only proposing minor changes to how we operate. If there is a different viewpoint, we'll be happy to get that feedback. The Public Works budget can be broken down into two parts, operations and capital. The operations budget can be broken down into two parts, salaries and other expenses. Salaries make up 2/3 of the Public Works operations budget, over $3 million. Public Works is proposing the same level of staffing as this year. We have 25 union personnel and 5 management personnel for a total of 30. We had 31 positions a couple of years ago, but Don Anderson and I are currently doing the tasks of the former fleet manager. For 2026, the cost increases for salaries are the normal pay increases, whatever they are. The union rates are set and non-union, Sean's call. For the non-salary part of the operating budget, we are proposing adjustments, but nothing that is even worth mentioning now. The draft budget is not finished, which explains why I'm not providing numbers. The capital budget is an entirely different story. Okay. So yeah, it's an entirely different story for capital. There are numerous high-cost items for the 2026 budget, including the following. The first phase of the Gay Street closure, much of that is covered by grants. Hopefully we'll have good news coming soon. The design of the Public Works facility. The repair of the Gay Street crosswalks and intersections where the bricks have been failing. A new dump truck to replace a very old dump truck. The design of the first phase of the South High Street streetscapes. The Goose Creek flood study, which may get moved over to stream protection, I'm not sure. An assessment of the infrastructure at Borough Hall. For example, we know that the rooftop air conditioners are getting towards the end of their useful lives. Replace a roof at the library. We still need to have a discussion on who's responsible for the library's repair and capital costs. And replace an older sewer video camera that allows us to inspect underground storm and sanitary. Obviously, funding these requests is a major concern. Finally, for the liquid fuels budget, we are proposing something very similar to last year, including $300,000 for road paving. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can.
You guys have any questions preliminary? Mr. Edwards, the staffing,
Yes.
as we migrate into getting the reports back from the parks evaluation.
Yes.
The parks will probably need to have a facility type of employees
Yep.
involved in, keeping the parks clean.
Yep.
And doing infrastructure work in different parks and around our facilities. Please I would like you to keep an open mind on staffing
Sure.
as we move forward, only because even though it's 2/3 of your budget, maybe your budget needs to go up a bit, because we're going to be expecting a lot more after this expenditure that we did with the parks.
Right.
And bringing them into snuff.
Let me add, I'm aware that Sean has an interest in adding a person for that purpose. And so what I'm proposing here is very much subject to change. Yeah.
Any questions? Thank you for your presentation.
Just a quick question, and if you don't know the number, that's fine, but
Okay.
like, what would be the overall year-over-year increase in your capital expenses based on some of these items that are here on the sheet that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, it's a big number.
It's a
So-
big number.
So let me I want to point one thing out. Just for the sake of showing it in the budget, I showed the construction cost of the Public Works building is $3 million over 4 years. Well, I know that that's not going to happen. If the project happens, it would be done probably with a bond issue where the payments would be spread out. So I'm sorry, I can't answer your question, but yeah.
Sooner than later, Mr. Metrick, the meeting with the library and the solicitor is paramount, because it's
150.
It's a large number. I saw it. Now I can't find it.
150.
Yeah, $150,000 just for the roof. So if the borough is not responsible, which I read the documents and legalese, I don't think the borough is responsible for maintenance, but that's above my pay grade. But we want to make sure that that's 150,000 that can go someplace else. So, thank you.
Okay.
Do we have an engineer's report, Mr. Metrick?
Just an attachment from RVE, but I did have an item to go over that's related to capital projects. So I could do that
Thank you.
now.
Yeah, why don't you do it now? Yeah.
I asked in response to comments from August, we're reformatting the way the engineers' reports talk about the capital projects that are falling under each of them. And I'm also putting together a report that I've given each of you a copy of. So there's a cover sheet that says that there is 31 active capital projects in the borough. The majority of those projects are projects that are equipment, or they're easily purchased, they're installed, things like a recycle truck. That's not really something we need to bring to you or talk to you about or check in about unless there's a problem, unless for some reason the vendor can't sell it to us or the price they promised isn't what we thought it would be. If you look on this cover sheet here, I've indicated a small portion of our projects. I'm doing quick count in my head, 1 through 5, 10 projects as major. Those are projects that I think you need to be checking in on and we need to be reporting out on with some more detail. We're already collecting this information. I'm just reformatting in a way that makes sense for a report, which is why we put this together. So this is a draft report. I made up numbers. We have actually not started on this project. We have not paid O'Donnell Nacarado $10,000, as I said here on this. That's why I slapped draft all over it. But this is a one-sheet read that said, and you're going to have 10 of these. It's going to be wash, rinse, repeat. It's going to show you what we budgeted for the project, who the project manager is, if we publicly bid the project, what that number was, quote or bid wise. You'll be able to track change orders if there are any down here, and you'll note that there's a change order limit that's 10% of the bid amount. And credit to Will Williams for sort of cobbling this together. It's going to auto-generate some pie charts for you to show you what kinds of expenditure, what the different expenditure types are, and who's getting paid in terms of vendors and how we're tracking for budget, as well as with notes. So I would really like the committee's feedback. Write it up, scan it to me, take a picture, send me an email, call me, text me, however thing you want this to look different, then we'll have it all primed and ready to go for October so that it has the information that you want to see.
And it's,
In real time,
Yeah.
my feedback is I think this is great. I think
On
it's
the
a
right
good-
track?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a great idea. It's very visual. It's clear. It's broken out into different chunks. I mean, I like it.
Okay.
Would we get one every month or would
Yeah.
it just be okay? So
Yeah.
we get 10 every month.
So what we do is we meet monthly in an infrastructure group to talk about projects and progress so that we can troubleshoot together problems. So it's a great team meeting. And all of the project managers and the people in charge of the grants are supposed to be updating those invoicing and payments. So all of this data is collected already. We just need to put it in a little different format so that it's legible and it's reportable.
Sean, do you have 2 extra copies of this?
Yeah.
Here tonight? Can you give one to Lisa?
Yeah.
And one to Jerry? Because they're going to be coming on and it's very important. The capital projects are so important. That's where most of our money goes during the given year if we have a budget. And you'll be able to tell whether you like the format because in 3 months, you guys are going to have to opine on what the heck's going on. Okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. I hearken to say my favorite guy because Mitchell will get really upset, but it's always a pleasure to see you.
Told me you too.
Wastewater, please.
We'll get right through the budget, I guess. Okay, we're going to go over the overview of the department, wastewater employee status, sewer revenue, operating expenses that had a significant rise and drop in the capital projects for 26. Goose Creek, built in 1988, is an aerobic plant that discharges into Goose Creek with a hydraulic design capacity of 1.86 million gallons per day. Currently, this plant is still waiting for its updated NPDES permit for PADP. The new parameters are known, just not the final limits and when the permit will be issued. Taylor Run, built in 1984, is an anaerobic plant that discharges into Taylor Run, a tributary of the east branch of the Brandywine Creek with a hydraulic design capacity of 1.8 million gallons a day. Taylor Run is the second year of its 5-year permit. The sewage collection systems consist of a gravity collection system with 4 pumping stations. 3 of the stations, College Avenue, New Street, and Worthington Street, discharge to Goose Creek plant, while Myers Street station discharges at Taylor Run. The department operates and maintains both plants at all stations on an 8-hour workday, 7 days a week, 365 days per year with a 24-hour monitoring system in place for emergency responses. Both plant laboratories continue to maintain their laboratory accreditation through PADP State Laboratory Program. The department is fully staffed with 1 director, 2 superintendents, 2 maintenance foremen, 2 operator technicians, 2 lab technicians, and 4 operator trainees at each plant. We're not asking for any additional employees in the department at this time. Sewer revenue, the 2 industrial discharge users, Penn Hospital and Chester County Hospital, and Archimedes Sortimer account 34332 is predicted to increase 25% between both users in 2026. The outside hauling revenue from McGovern is predicted to stay the same level at 25 with flow hauled into Goose Creek wastewater treatment plant. Grant revenue will be added to the sewer fund revenue stream. The sewer fund will receive $750,000 for various projects in 26. Okay, operating expenses. Aluminum sulfate is going to be up 24% because Goose Creek is going to get start using it for their phosphorus removal. That's going to go on their new permit. Grit removal is going to be up 255% because Goose Creek is going to clean out one of their digester tanks, and they're going to have to get a high vac truck and dispose of the dry grit. The last cleaned out 5 years ago. The heat oil is going to be up 23%. We purchased it for both plants through the CCIU, but Taylor Run heats the digester sludge year round. And polymer is going to be down 60% because of Goose Creek with their aluminum sulfate. It'll reduce the dry polymer usage. And the capital projects.
Can I just interrupt for just
Sure.
a sec? Is there an offset in cost when you switch the actual treatment of the polymer to aluminum sulfate, or is it more expensive? I didn't.
Aluminum sulfate will be more expensive.
It works better.
Okay. Yeah, like the polymer will become more of a polisher. So the aluminum sulfate does the bulk of the dropping out of the phosphorus and all the other solids and things, and then the little pieces, the flock. Well, the polymer takes out that.
Thank you.
Okay, phase 3 of the electrical substation rebuild at Goose Creek. Bids will go out for installation of a new electrical equipment in the Q4 of 25. Delivery of the equipment has been pushed back to February of 26 due to delays by the manufacturer. Installation should take place soon after all the components are delivered. Sludge dewatering system design is in its final stage now. The centrifuges will procure and bids for installation will take place in the first and second quarter of 26 at the Goose Creek plant. The Maple Valley sanitary sewer upgrade design is just about complete. We're still waiting for PADP to approve the connection management plan so we can submit a water quality management permit for the project. The borough should have the grant decision for phase 2 in the first quarter of 26, and we can decide how to bid the project in the second quarter. We're shooting for construction to happen in the summer months while the university is out. The department will also be purchasing a backup pump at the College Avenue and New Street pumping stations, along with milling, repairing, and repaving at the Taylor Run wastewater plant driveway. The department will be asking to reallocate money for 3 projects to the 25 capital fund. Goose Creek Electrical Substation, Sludge Dewatering System, and Maple Valley Sanitary Sewer Upgrade. That was not completed for various reasons. You have any questions or?
You guys have any questions on this thing preliminary?
No.
Mr. Finley, please make sure that you have the carryover specifically spelled out for finance,
Okay,
because we don't want the funding to go away,
right.
because it's part of the functioning of carrying over a project. We have to make sure we ask for the money
Right.
for the next budget.
Okay.
And be very specific about it so that they know that we are asking for it.
Right.
All right.
I got you. Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate it.
All right. Mr. Keith Karowski, Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. We're mainly going to talk about budget tonight, but I'm not going to talk a lot about numbers specifically. We will get into some numbers, especially in the capital, a little bit later. Bill, you can scroll through. Core responsibilities. I mean, you can read through them. Our job is to bring the fun to the borough and make sure our parks are well maintained and upkept and safe for everyone to enjoy in conjunction with the Public Works Department. And we're going to be looking at that a lot more in depth moving forward. The department is myself and our program coordinator. And this year we had an intern, and I would hope to have an intern again next summer. Our summer intern who came to us from Westchester University was a great help during the summer, which is our busiest time of the year. And I'd like to be able to ask for that again next year. It's a minimal cost. I think it's about $3,000 for her stipend for the summer. Go ahead, Bill. Just a list of the events and programs. And actually, we saw that a lot earlier in the ACT committee when we were talking about different events and activities that take place in the borough. We plan on delivering on that even more so next year. It's something I've talked about and I want to bring back as we get into the line item budget, which again, the biggest changes to our line item budget from this year to next year, we're probably going to be moving, and these were in preliminary discussions on the staffing level, is we're going to be moving park maintenance from, there was 2 line items, one in Public Works and one in Parks and Rec. We're going to combine them and probably get them moved over to just into Public Works, so it's a bit more trackable. And then anything that comes from the parks or comes to the parks comes across my desk and I can sign off on. Just kind of keeps those line items a little bit more tied up. A new line item we'll have for next year, but it's kind of a new old line item, is will be Super Sunday. Super Sunday is an event that I want to bring back to the borough of Westchester. I say it's old and new. Again, the last time we had a Super Sunday was in 2019. It was ended due to the pandemic and some other circumstances, and it's about time we brought it back. This event will take place in May, though. It historically took place in June, and then the Turk's Head Music Festival got moved over to June, and things got, anyways, it'll be May. So we'll have a major event in the Parks and Rec Department, May, June. We don't do a lot of heavy programming or events in July anymore because, let's be honest, it's just too hot and the weather's too unpredictable to do things outside on a major scale. Then we have our event that we host with the police department, the Night Out Against Crime / Touch a Truck event in August, the Restaurant Festival in September, the Halloween Parade in October. Take a little bit of a breather in November, get ready for Christmas events in December. Go ahead, Bill, slip through. Again, just a listing of classes, activities, programs, bus trips that we'll be running. And mainly that will be our program coordinator, Ryan Michael, who again, will be with us almost a year coming up soon, which is crazy. I think he's been here almost a year. You really don't have a full appreciation for this department and the events and activities you run until you've been through every single one of them and know what it's like. He's been to the Restaurant Festival. He's never helped organize and run the Restaurant Festival. 2 big different experiences. I want to touch mainly on the pros plan. You mentioned it earlier, Mr. Flynn. Our Parks, Recreation, Open Space Plan, the final has been given over to the steering committee, which has been kind of vested with overseeing that process. We had the draft final come out in July. The steering committee met with the consultants. We did a review process. It was sent back to the consultants for updates. And the final, if you will, was just given to me, I believe it was Friday or Monday. And that's been distributed for the steering committee one last time. There is a significant process. This is going to be a plan that's going to be adopted by the borough and also by the county. So I just want to kind of touch base on that process and how it goes down. The next step after the review by the steering committee, and again, there's not really an update to this. This is the final. They're just kind of going over it one last time. It'll be reviewed by the Recreation Commission. Again, just a review. Then it has to be submitted to the Chester County Planning Commission for the Act 247 review with referral form, along with the MPC and final VPP review. These are all things that take place by the county at their level. Once they agree that, yes, this plan is as it says it's supposed to be and what we were granted the money for, it'll come back to the borough for adoption by resolution. I would expect that process, and I've never been through this process before, so I don't know how long that takes from the county level, but I would expect probably maybe, I would hope to have it back before council at their November meetings. That's just kind of wishful thinking. I honestly don't know what that process is going to be like. With that being said, the pros plan comes up with 6 big moves, or kind of 6 really good ideas of what it is that they feel we need to work on the most. And as we're looking at these ideas, some are a bit overlapping. Some are, many of them are things we're already doing. This kind of further explains and details out how we need to do these things, what other processes and procedures need to be put in place to do these more effectively. But these 6 overarching ideas are going to be our kind of directives, especially towards capital programming when it comes to what we want to see in our parks. I won't read all of them for you. You can read them yourselves, but it's really the gist of it is continue with the programming, expand upon the programming, provide safe and affordable programming for all in the borough, provide safe and well-maintained parks and facilities within the borough, provide a means to get to and from those facilities, not just interconnected between the parks themselves, but from the other areas in town, mainly like the downtown. Everything we're going to be doing moving forward is going to relate back to these 6 principles. And obviously the last principle, if you want to skip kind of forward, Bill. Sustaining what we love is another one I like a lot. Again, that's what I hear the vast majority from the people that come to the recreation commissions is, we need to be able to maintain what we have before we can start looking at getting a new. While I agree with that in some degree, and I think that this plan will help us get to those goals in a reasonable time period, we also have to look to the future. The borough is a densely packed neighborhoods area, the downtown. But if we don't look to the areas that are there and that are possibly available for acquisition by the borough for potential parks and rec or open space needs in the future, they're not going to be there in the future, and we're not going to have that capability. One idea just comes to mind off the top of my head is like the Davis Oil property. I think it could be a really nice park that could be developed for our needs and expand upon our park grounds here in the borough. I don't know what that looks like or how that goes about right now, but it is part of my capital project. Bill, you can move forward to the next one, please. Our 5-year capital.
A quick question on that.
Fire away.
Do we have to invoke eminent domain in order to take over that property? That doesn't belong to us.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Acquisition.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, these are things we have to look about. These things, again, with what is it, something like 3,000 units coming on in the borough in the next 5 years or whatever it is, with all these major places that are coming on board, the current parks that we have, the pros plan already shows that we're underserved as far as parkland goes. We're not just going to make 15 acres come out of nowhere, but any little spot where we can use this and then use that to connect to other existing parks via trails, via sidewalks, anything non-vehicular, we should really be looking at. Whether or not it becomes a reality down the line, I don't know, but we should be looking at to see if it can be a reality. Our capital project list moving ahead, I do have some, I don't want to call it terrible news, but we did not receive one of the grants that I was hoping to get for the John O. Green splash pad. That was the People Parks and Community Foundation. We had asked for $30,000. They had 121 applications asking for $3.1 million. They awarded 6 for $112,000. So while I think we put together a really nice application, we unfortunately did not get that. Now, also coupled with that is the same contractor that installed that park, both John O. Green Phase 1 and Phase 2, is who we want to do the work moving ahead. Is a contractor that's been vested in this community, grew up in this community, done a lot of work on our parks. He is completely booked out this entire fall. So while we look to find other potential funding means for this project, along with the grant that we applied for the rest of Phase 1, I will be looking to carry those funds over with a potential amendment to those funds in 2026. That's kind of one of our keystone jumping off points of the parks that really need our assistance moving ahead, that doesn't have a very well organized friends group. I did my best to color code this, which in hindsight isn't the best for someone who's partially colorblind. So I tried to highlight the ones that are kind of the colors stay together with the same project moving ahead. We have several grants that we've applied for, John O'Green being one. Obviously, we just completed the Hoops Park Racket Center rehabilitation. We're actually getting ready to pay the bill for that. That'll be in the Finance Committee next year. Again, that was a $250,000 project. $237,000 of that was paid for via grants. And again, everything we do moving forward when it comes to capital projects, we will do our best to supply and apply for the grants that we can hopefully get, whether that be the county, DCED, DCNR. We'll do everything we can to support the projects, not using taxpayer dollars first. If you look at these projects moving ahead, I don't have numbers kind of for the later ones because we won't know what those numbers look like until those feasibility plans or those studies are done. But one of the key things, again, that the PROS plan states, and it's actually kind of a prerequisite for the grant that we applied for and got from the county, was we need to figure out ways to get around this borough not using your car. And getting from point A to point B or park A to park B using a bike, using your feet, creating a trail. There's an idea in the PROS plan called the Turk's Head Trail. And ironically enough, there's another group that's already started looking at this outside of the borough, an outside entity for a Turk's Head Trail within the borough that I want to start up conversations with and see how we can move it forward. Starting by connecting 2 or 3 of our parks and see where we can go from there. Go ahead, Bill. The last is the simple one. Hey, any questions?
Can I,
Um,
can I
Fire away.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Well, we're still going to proceed with the phase 1 of John O'Green
Yes.
splash pad replacement, right? Even
Yes.
though we didn't get the grant?
Absolutely. We have $85,000 budgeted for that. We have
Okay.
that. It will not happen this fall. The contractor is fully booked, and I'd like to look at other means supporting that. It will be done before next, well, we usually turn the splash pad on Memorial Day weekend. Whatever it is that we decide to do as a borough will be done before that date.
Okay, thank you. And then again, on John O'Green, phase 2, it says north side, but I think it meant to be north side.
North side.
North side upgrades phase 2, 305. We're expecting
We're
a
expecting a grant,
grant.
yes.
We do expect that, at least some of that money. What are we going to do? Because a lot of these other line items have very specifics about playground equipment or moving something. I don't know. I would like to know what the plan is for the north side upgrade.
Oh, we
Not
have it. It's
super
done.
clear. Okay.
I'd be willing to show, I can share with you, absolutely. We worked with Panoni, one of our engineers.
Yeah.
And Little Tykes Boys Associates on the playground equipment. The plan is already there.
So it is for
We
playground.
met with the neighborhood. We
Okay.
went through this. We had some gives and some gets with the neighborhoods, with the neighborhood, excuse me. But yeah, we already have a plan in place. We've applied for the grant via that plan. The total project was, again, $305,000. I think the grant, if I'm not mistaken, was an 85-15 split. So 85% coming from the grant and 15% coming from the borough. And next year, hopefully we get the grant we want and we get the full $250,000. Next year, we'll just be refining that plan and making sure we have everything to a T how we want it so we can put it out for procurement and bid.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, I have 3 questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Ready? Ms. Vaccaro, he talked about a Super Sunday. Mr. Travis, he talked about a Super Sunday. To me, that's another special event that comes across both of your tables to decide how you're going to want to handle the churches and funding and all that kind of stuff. So please put that on your radar, that he's bringing back, instead of 3 Sundays, now it's going to be 4 Sundays in 2026.
What is the location of it? Is it Everhart Park?
Nope, it's downtown Westchester.
Okay.
What are the hours?
Historically, it was 11 to 4 or 11 to 5, but it's a new event. Those
So
hours
we
can
could
change.
do Like 12 or 1 to 6.
We could.
We could. So already we figured out that we don't have 3 Sundays that are really interfering with. So
I just wanted to put that on your radar.
with the parking thing, there's no need to add it. It's already with the definition under parking. It's in the downtown. We're gonna talk and try to get it for a slightly later start. But I think with parking overall, our definition is pretty clear. It's different what we're trying to do with the act committee. But with parking, we're pretty clear. I think we're ready to move ahead and good.
To put it on your radar because it's
Okay.
another Sunday. Okay.
Mr.
Travis.
Karofsky, so to that point, when we used to have Super Sunday, did we charge for event parking when we were putting that on before?
I honestly, I don't know. I'd have to
I
go
don't
back and
believe we
look.
did.
I don't recall.
I'm pretty sure we did not.
Gotcha. I don't know. And that was, like I said, the last one was 2019.
It's a special event. So it's a $20 special event.
Thanks for, you're right.
And we keep it. We keep the money. So that's the first question. But I just wanted to put it on their radar in case they were watching the Phillies game. Staffing for the parks.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Edwards mentioned possibly one person, the staff the parks. Looking at one of your slides up there, it seems to be there's going to be a lot of work needed in making the parks more usable and more friendly. So the police court, like I mentioned to Mr. Edwards, please keep an open mind when you get the report. You can't, that's the problem. We don't fund the items that we want to maintain. And you can't keep a park up for one person.
Understood.
Yeah, it takes two people to fold the drop cloth. So one guy or one person can't do it.
We've had the very preliminary discussions, and I think Mr. Metric put out a memo that we'll be looking at all options for park maintenance, whether that be third party, in-house, and we'll try and figure out the best way, the most cost-effective and feasible way of doing that moving forward. But yes, I like the idea of having a park maintenance foreman or something along those lines. But I think we're still a little bit early in that.
Keep it on your
Yes,
radar
sir.
for me. The last thing is the not part of your presentation, the four toilets that we have. I believe it's 4 parks. We have 4 toilets.
Yes.
When are you still electronically opening them and closing them?
You mean like the actual
the-
park restrooms?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, no. No, let me think this.
I thought we had electronic.
Marshall Square, Hoops, and Everhart, yes, those are digital locks.
Okay.
Greenfield is not. Greenfield is a keyed lock.
Are they, to your best of your knowledge, are they being cleaned on a daily basis and disinfected? Because
Yep.
I've gotten reports that the odor is like a Subway in Philadelphia.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, every morning, I believe Public Works has a gentleman actually comes out on the weekends as well for our rentals. Unfortunately, our park restrooms are where most of the vandalism takes place because no one can see you in there. But from a maintenance, a general cleanup maintenance perspective, I believe they are.
Can you put that on your radar?
I can,
And kind of report back to us next week?
can do.
Or even an email will work.
Sure.
Because as we traveled during the summer to various restrooms, in different towns that are publicly run by the townships and boroughs, they were very pleasing. And I want to make sure that our kids and our residents have the same experience. Like I said, I got a couple of emails and I haven't had time to reach out to talk about, but the restrooms are pretty important.
Yeah, absolutely. I can check with the Friends groups
Did
too.
the parks people look into how our restrooms are,
Yes,
the condition of them?
yes.
Okay. And we talked a while ago about putting a portable mounted
John O'Green.
at John O'Green. And Mr. Edwards had all the drawings done and everything. I know we can't go down more than 3 feet, but it was supposed to happen on the, that we thought was going to happen.
We've had some discussions about that, and it's at 2 feet. We can't go 24 inches below grade. And if we do, we can, but we have to get DEP involved. And DEP will be involved in the processes moving forward with the renovations taking out that park, because we're going to have to go below 24 inches. And this will be a good time to, as we're going through the further renovations or concepts thereof of what that's going to become, that'll be involved.
Thank you very much. I
Yes,
really
sir.
appreciate it. Any questions?
Just a comment. I'd like to see the whole thing remediated, honestly. I mean, start over.
Which part, what?
Yeah.
Green, to Mr. Travis's point, every year, and because of the water feature, it melts the glue away from the substrate. And you just basically every couple of years, you got to re-glue it down.
Well, that's where I'm ahead of you just a little bit. The new splash pad will not be the poured in place rubberized material. It's going to be a brushed concrete, which is, you can see that used in a lot of the water parks around the country. So we won't have that issue. And if we get to an issue of mold or mildew from overhanging trees, it's a lot easier to be treated with power washing when you got to be careful you're not blowing rubber out of the way that's supposed to be there for the fall zone. But I will gladly share the concepts that were submitted with the grant application so you can see what it looks like.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yes, especially because it's in your district, correct?
Some of-
And it would be helpful maybe next month during one of your presentations to put on the agenda to talk about, the John O. Green, the new concept. That'd be real helpful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I apologize. I know that you had a readout, a presentation on this. I just was not available.
No problem.
So catching up a little bit.
No, not a problem. Again, and what we submitted with the rule with the grant is kind of like, we're going to be putting playground in there. We're going to be making renovations. We're going to be adding some green space. We can't go ahead and then switch and say, oh, we're going to put in a swimming pool. The concept plan that we put in and submitted for the grant can be adjusted to a degree, just not significantly. But I'll share that.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone? Mayor, please come on up and visit with us.
Hi. So just two questions. Who's the contractor?
Buzz Berger and Associates.
Okay. You said he's from Westchester?
He's originally from Westchester, and his company installed both John O. Green Phase 1 and Phase 2.
Okay. And secondly, I heard you say you met with the neighbors. Because I've done that once or twice as well. And I just wonder, was Donna Thomas a part of that conversation? Okay. Okay. And I'd really like to see the plans.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next week, it's October already, right? October would be good for your presentation on Parks and Rec. All right. That way you can get a more detailed information for us. Thank you. Any questions, team? Okay, old business, approve the minutes. Okay, Mr. Travis was absent. Ms. Vaccaro, you okay with it? Okay. Update on Public Works Facility. Mr. Metric, please.
Yeah, thank you. Don Edwards and I have been kind of working in parallel on this, but doing different things. So if I say something that's wrong, you'll let me know. If I omit something you want to mention, please put it in. Don prepared for us a tentative schedule. I've got notes here. It's not prepared as a report, so I'm going to give it to you verbally. And if you want more information on this or you want to present it a different way, let me know. But this is a quick way for me to get it down in one place. I did reach out to the township manager in West Whiteland, who they just completed a public works facility. And we met with Barbara and I met with a financial advisor, bond counsel, and we inquired with our engineer about grant funding opportunities. There was a grant fund. You may have been here when we were doing the building, right? We went through a RACP. What does that stand for? And capital programming. I forget what the RNA stands for. It's a state program. West Whitelands is an interesting story. It's a $14 million facility that they built on a greenfield on land they owned in the township. It's not centrally located, so it's distant from their administrative offices. It's a good 5-8 minute drive. If you know the geography down there, you got to go out to the east. It's out towards the big parkland that's in the Great Valley. They sold their old public works facility and site and got $5 million for it, 4 for the land and 1 for the barn. Why was it worth so much money? Because it was zoned in the Exton Route 100 corridor. That's why. And it was a bigger property than the one we currently own. They had nothing but good things to say about their contractor, Heim Construction. They obtained $2.3 million in RACP grants. They borrowed $6 million and they used $300K in reserves. So they got a $14 million building with financing about $6 million of it and spending $300K in cash on it. So they did pretty good, right? They did about 40 cents on the dollar there, I think, if I'm doing the math right. It was a long process. It took 6 years from start to finish. They had a committee working with led by their public works director and manager, that involved council people and different people in the planning commission and so forth. So they did have the advantage of not having the kind of site restrictions that we do. And also they didn't have to deal with, if we are going to build a public works facility where we currently have one, we're going to have to figure out a transition plan, because it took about a year for this facility to be built. So we just can't shut down public works operations for a year. So we got to think about how what would the interim be, and so forth. So Don did put together a timeline for us, and the next bit of information is financial related. So I'm going to bore you with a little bit of numbers. If you can stick with me here. We met with bond counsel on August 28th, and we discussed whether to do a bank loan or a bond. And we also discussed going through Penvest, which is a Commonwealth sponsored grant and loan program for water and sewer infrastructure in the Commonwealth. That's a perfect fit for our wastewater project. They do standard 20-year loans. The first 5 years are fixed rate at 1.74% right now. 1.74% right now. And then years 6 through 20 are going for 2.18%. So it's free money. It must be a completely contained Commonwealth revolving loan fund. I don't know how exactly it's structured, but there's no way they're going out to market. And who would buy a bond that yields 2.8%, 2.18% right now? And we looked at some amortization schedules, and I think there is a plan, even if we were to have to borrow up to $10 million to phase in those debt payments, because the sewer fund currently doesn't have any debt, over a long period of, over like a 5 or 6 year slow increase in sewer rate payments. So I'm a lot less worried about raising capital to do funding for the wastewater projects. The only thing they caution us to do is to start talking to Penvest now, because the Penvest process itself can take 18 months. We still don't know exactly what the scope of the project is yet and how much money we're going to need to borrow, because we have to test and resubmit. And the permit development process, I've learned, is like an iterative process. You do one thing, you check the results, you check back with DEP, they tell you to do something different, and finally you settle on a discharge limit and a way to address it. So we're probably in the first lap of a mile-long race, so to speak, to finish that permit process. For the general fund loan to fund the public works facility, we're probably looking at, if we're under $10 million, we can do a bank loan. If we're over 10 million, it's most likely going to be a bond. It's a significant long-term investment. Obviously, we currently have about, Barb would scold me for guessing, and I'm going to guess in a public meeting, but we're at about, I'd say about $9 to $10 million principal outstanding for general fund right now. Let me check that and get a good number for you. So to borrow another 10 million, we'd almost double our indebtedness. And right now, our annual debt service of principal and interest is at $780,000, and we don't have any debt relief coming. And I can show this with more in-depth analysis if you want. We have no debt relief coming for a while. Now, I will not be the borough manager by the time the debt relief comes, because I will be in my mid-70s by then. So
Doesn't make you a bad person. to be in your
Does not.
mid-70s. Just, so,
Uh,
just saying.
It's not going to be the
I'm just
problem.
saying.
It's not going to be the problem I'm going to be wrestling with at that point in time. But we would be adding, to borrow $10 million at 4% fixed rate for 30 years, which is a rough estimate, you'd be paying $48,000 a month or $576,000 a year. So you'd be increasing your debt payment about 75, 80% from where it is today. Right now, you have to impose a real estate tax of 1 mil to generate $780,000 of revenue. So it's 1 mil to pay your debt service right now. And our current millage rate is 8.09. So if you would have to add another, if you're just going to do it through a tax increase, real estate tax increase, you'd have to add 0.74 mils or about 9% to your tax rate to fund the financing of a 30-year note for $10 million at 4% fixed, which is rough estimate. So I just sort of spitballing rough numbers so you guys have an idea of the scale and the timing. And Barb and I are going to get to work on Penvest. John and I are going to get to work on the RFP for architectural services. I got him some feedback on that today, and that's next steps.
Have any questions? It's a long process.
It's a long process. Do we have any assets that are worth anything that we could sell? Just based on the story with the, what was it, West Whiteland?
Nothing worth $10 million.
No, I know. I'm just trying to creative when you look at those numbers and you're doubling your debt. So
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was anything that you had in mind that we could, because I know we've talked about some of the other brownfield properties and potentially building something on one or moving the public works building to another. Another thought was to move it over by where the water treatment plant is. I don't know. The whole thing worries me a little bit.
Yeah. We haven't, I think it's worthwhile. You mentioned that and might be worthwhile to at least broach the topic when and I've mentioned it to Don before, but not in this context, is test the feasibility of a site at the Snyder Avenue location. I don't know if that's feasible, but I think that maybe our call for proposals should at least have a component in there that tests the feasibility of that site, because it eliminates the what do we do in the interim while we're constructing it piece. And it also, to your point, I think, or I'm borrowing your point, you could sell the 1.5 acres or some of what's there today at Public Works.
Or we could build something there that would generate revenue.
Or that too. Exactly. Yeah. Right now, that's not to go too far down the wormhole. It's an interesting thing to consider. It's a policy question for you all, but think of it also in the context of the current zoning. Right now, that use is a non-conforming use in that zoning district. So.
Acres over at Snyder Avenue. Is there about 10 acres?
There's more acres than that, but the question really is, how much of it is usable?
Okay. And since it's in West Goshen, maybe West Goshen would like to buy that from us for 20 million.
I'll send Chris an email.
See, Bernie asked the question. You guys interested in, Snyder Avenue?
We do
for
currently
20 million?
use that, and the fire training facility
Yeah.
uses it, but we use it. There's this phrase about land use, so highest and best use. Sometimes that gets you in trouble, right? But the way we're using that facility today is a storage area for, you've probably been down there for.
For leaves and bushes and refrigerators.
That
And,
stuff will have to go somewhere else.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 And that.
We'll call
site
East
has-
Bradford and use it a lot in East Bradford somewhere.
That site has value.
Yeah, it
in
does.
What it is
Yeah.
today, and there's quite a bit of floodplain there on the north
Yeah.
side as well.
Thank you. I know we're every month we're just going to keep,
We're going to work on it.
checking on the boxes.
Yep, we're
Yeah.
going to, consistency. is
Anyone
what's
else
important.
in the audience have
How you make
any
progress.
questions? Thank you. Team, anything? Good. All right. C, discuss the project planning, design, construction process of the Public Works Rain Garden project down at Lacey Street. The Borough Council in public, and we met and we discussed it in session, you know, in depth, the pros and cons of what happened down there, how well the project did turn out. You know, if you go down there and look at it, you'll see that the rain gardens are functioning, doing a great job. The planning was fine. The process was fine until we got to the end where the parking lot was not fine. And other than that, you know, that's when the change order came in, which surprised us. And we've hashed that out quite a bit, and we've agreed to pay the bill. It was a 5-2 vote to pay the bill. So the design process worked, and the checks and balances down there didn't work as well, okay? But moving forward with this new program that Mr. Metric is going to put in the process, I think will eliminate a lot of our angst. So that's my editorial. Do you guys have anything that you want to add to it?
No, I think we diligently followed the process backwards or forwards or both. And we put some new processes in place that I think that's exactly what we had to do.
Mistakes happen, and when we can learn from them, they're great. So I'm very happy with what the solutions have been, and I want to see it move forward and adhered to.
Thank you very much. Anyone in the public have any comments about the project? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Discuss amending Chapter 102, the tree ordinance. I met with Chip Horn, the borough manager, Kristen Camp, and we went through the process of changing some of the wording and some of the important changes that make sense in the tree program. Mr. Horn, you want to come up and we could walk through this process? You know, the wording, a lot of the words in the original ordinance just didn't fit the right way. Either a tree is dead or a tree isn't dead. If a tree is going to fall, is it hazardous? Duh, I even knew that one. But Chip, you want to
Yeah, so,
bring the council up to speed?
yeah, what you're describing, there are really two parts of what we did. That's the first part. Some of the wording in the ordinance didn't make sense. It's not what we're actually doing. So things like, if a street tree is to be condemned and removed, it has to be dead or in severe decline. We say that language. We didn't have a provision for if a tree is hazardous and needs to be removed on an emergency basis. You can't wait for the tree commission to meet a month later. So the borough arborist has the authority to order that removed. We clarified that the borough is responsible for planting new street trees and pruning. And we added a requirement for a tree permit to be on site when the work's done. So that's part one. Part two is we changed the definition of what to do with heritage trees. The old ordinance says that a small fee goes to property owners with heritage trees from the Stream Protection Fund. So we did away with that. What we're doing now is if you have on private property a heritage tree and you want to remove it, you either have to plant a certain number of trees on your property as compensation, or if you can't do that, contribute a fee in lieu of to plant street trees throughout the borough. That's sort of it in a nutshell. Questions?
Yeah, the last part. So if you have a tree that's on private property,
Right.
it's a heritage tree.
Right.
What counts as a heritage tree?
It's the definition that's called DBH, which is the diameter. It has to be at least 24 inches.
Okay, so I have one of those, and
So you get a fee each year from the Stream Protection Fund?
uh,
You're eligible for it. I don't know if you.
it's in my backyard. I have a very large tree. It's one of
Yeah.
the largest in the borough, actually, in terms of height.
Okay.
It's dying. It's a larch, and if I remove that tree, I have to replace it with a certain number of commensurate trees on my property.
Right.
But I don't have that much room on my property, so I'm
So that's why you'd pay a fee in lieu of, which would be used to plant street trees elsewhere. in
So
the
what
world.
keeps somebody from just keeping a dead tree in their backyard because they're going to be facing all this costs and fee in lieu and so on and so forth? Just
Right.
leaving it there and let it fall. I'm just curious.
Well, you wouldn't want to have it fall, no.
Basically,
Playing a little bit of devil's advocate here because I have a situation that's very, very close to what this new
exactly.
language is.
So let's walk, the other wording, I guess you're okay, guys are okay with chapter 1. All right.
So I wasn't sure exactly based on this, what was changed.
Yeah.
And so I used.
It was
to see
basically
what-
dead trees, a tree.
Yeah, no, I
coming
explained it, but this one just kind of.
All right, okay, Chip, let's walk, Mr. Metric, let's walk through the process on this thing so everybody can understand it. If you have a big tree in your yard and the tree is dying, you own the tree, okay? And it's your responsibility to take the tree down so it doesn't damage your house because it's on private property, okay? So let's say to take the tree down, $5,000. Okay? That's an average. It's just pick a number, $5,000. Well,
It's
how
light.
That's, for a big tree, that's probably light, yeah.
okay, $10,000. All right, it's behind door number 1. $10,000. Okay? All right, so now Chip, what the tree commission and what we're recommending, all right, the homeowner, I'm surprised, well, they're going to want to take it down anyway because it's going to
Right.
kill somebody on their property or do property damage. All right,
So we want to maintain the tree canopy in Westchester, so we want to replace that tree. So you could either, if you have room on your property, plant a certain number of trees, new trees. Or if you don't have room on your property, you can contribute to this fee so that we can plant more trees on streets in the borough. So it's just a way to, enhance the tree canopy in Westchester.
we don't have okay, so,
It's also private property, so that's
Right.
where I get a little bit hung up on this.
well, the heritage tree people who have heritage trees every year get a discount on
Right.
their
Right.
stream protection. If you read,
I do not.
I'm
Well,
so sorry for you.
You
apply
have
for
to
it.
say you have a heritage.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to apply for
say
it,
you have a
yeah.
heritage tree. So you get a discount on your
Well,
stream protection.
now I might not want to because if I have to spend $10,000 to take it down and then I can't fit that many trees on my property, I have to pay a fee in lieu. I might not want to go
Well,
through the
you,
process.
I know your property's probably 20 feet wide by 40 feet long, your backyard.
I'm not trying to be argumentative.
No, no, no,
I'm really trying to point out a situation where it might not be me, but it might be some. I
I'm
know.
I'm glad you're giving real life experience. This way here we could work through it.
Well,
So you can't put, I don't think it's 1 for 1, is it?
no, it's in the ordinance, it's a certain number. It depends on the size of the tree.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the size of the tree.
Yeah,
He's the tallest tree.
so say it's five.
As they
Yeah,
say, where I come from, the tallest tree.
Yeah,
He has the tallest tree in Westchester, so let's say he has to put 5 trees.
Yeah, that's something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
an average tree costs what? That Mr. Edwards buys,
$500.
$500.
Yeah.
Okay, so, then it goes in the fee in lieu. So you're not going to register your heritage tree because it's going to cost you money. Yeah. So
Well, I
Mr.
suppose you could.
How do we counteract the situation on that particular item?
Well, you're saying you wouldn't want to remove the tree because it would cost you money? I'm sorry, you have a tree that's dead or dying.
Working through a real life experience.
Trying to go test this out to see if it actually works.
Right.
And so far, I'm poking holes in it. It's not working.
So I'm going to shift from your property to a landlord's property.
Okay,
And let's even do like a big, at least a Zukin, Elon Khan property.
right.
They're never going to register any of their trees as heritage trees.
No,
No, but they can't remove it without getting approval. Under the new ordinance. So,
Any tree.
a heritage tree.
I know, but
Yeah,
nobody's registered. How many heritage trees do we have?
I don't know.
I mean, why would you register as a heritage tree other than there is an opportunity for a discount for a few years?
Right.
Many minds will make this thing understandable, hopefully.
A couple of years ago, maybe, Burger King property.
Right,
Private.
yes.
Yeah, they took it down. We really didn't have any recourse. They didn't need approval.
So with
So-
the new ordinance, they would need approval.
So
Yeah,
the new ordinance, they would need approval.
right.
And that
Yes.
was a heritage tree. That was registered as a heritage tree.
They weren't registered, but they were by definition.
So that's
So-
where we're getting confused. By definition, you have to register your
No,
heritage
No,
tree.
you don't, no.
So he should get a discount.
This is different. That's the old ordinance. If you want a discount, you have to apply for it.
So the new one
it
just
goes in
makes them heritage trees.
Let me ask the question. Just say there's a tree, nobody knows about it except the property owner. They decide they want to take it down. It's not called a heritage tree, it's just a tree.
If it's a heritage tree, is a diameter of 24 inches.
But the
Who
thing is,
Going around in everybody's backyard and measuring the
Right.
trees.
Okay, so,
see, that's the thing is that we don't know.
sure, so if you don't catch them, yeah, but you can't, how do you write that in an ordinance?
No, I'm not trying to catch people. I'm saying, who is doing that? Because somebody has to do that if this is our ordinance, and like, we need to enforce this. If this is our ordinance, we need to enforce it. And by the way, you guys did a great job of telling Kyle's auto tags that you were inspecting trees. They were horribly impressed by the letter. So thank you for sending out letters that you were inspecting trees. But like, this is real. If you're going to say anything over 24 inches is a heritage tree,
Right,
then we need somebody going out on a regular basis to measure everybody's trees and then tell them that that's a heritage tree.
well, we're not proposing that. I mean, that would be a big job. I mean,
But then don't write it down. Don't make it a rule. Rule if we can't enforce it.
This needs more work.
I'm okay with
I'd like
it.
to table this.
It's,
yeah,
because,
I don't really understand the issue, but that's, you know,
all right, the issue is that most of the large trees on
Right.
people's properties are not registered as a heritage tree, okay? But,
Right.
and on Saturdays and Sundays, the chippers in the borough are well at work because there's nobody normally around to find that people. And not everybody asks for a permit to take down a tree on private property.
But so how would you write an ordinance to prevent that? You can't.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Vaccaro just said. You can't do that. The only thing you can do is look towards
If you want to,
the honest people
right,
that have a more, now you realize how small 24 inches is. That was my waist probably in 8th grade. So currently it's around 42. So of course I'm a heritage person anyway,
So-
but you see what I'm saying?
it's just saying,
It's,
you can't, if people are going to cheat, you can't write. it
no,
down.
you're absolutely right. But you have to have something in place that can be measurable.
I'm not worried about people cheating. If you're going to tell me my willow tree is a heritage tree and I wasn't sitting here and then I'm cutting it down and then you're fining me and making me pay you money for a law I don't know anything about. I need you to communicate with me and tell me, hey, this is our ordinance, this is our rule. I know everybody else has, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of other people have this in place and it's
Right.
just a standard practice. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about if we have a rule in place,
Right.
we need to be able to enforce it. And
So is it a communications issue? Is that what you're
it's a
saying?
communication
Okay,
issue.
well, that's-
It's a I have a landlord next to me. For years, he had all these dead trees all over his property. His tenant was complaining all the time. He just came in after she left and took all of them away. Just like that.
Right.
In a week's time, they were all heritage trees. Some of them were definitely dead. 2 of them were 2 completely healthy walnuts. Did I want them? No, I was fine with them going, but they didn't plant more trees. Not one. So you should be, who's going to be there to find him?
You can't,
Who's
you're
going
not
to,
gonna be able to catch everybody doing this. I mean, yeah.
but
yeah.
everybody's doing, and I have another neighbor who took down a dead tree and she got in so much trouble because she didn't know what she was doing. She hired the wrong guy. They didn't do the right permits. And she was in tears talking to me because she was trying to do the right thing, but she didn't know what to do. So it's very much a communication thing, but it's also an enforcement thing. And until we have a plan in place where we can do both those things, I don't think we're ready.
We need to do some work because
Okay.
as I'm thinking about it,
Yeah,
I have to pay $10,000 to take the tree down. And my property's not big enough to put
right.
that many trees back on it because not everybody, my backyard is 16 feet wide by 90 feet long. But you can't put that many trees in my yard.
Right.
Or I'd have no yard. So you're double fining me, because, well, into a residence world, I'm paying 10 grand and now I got to put trees in. Well, I can't put trees in. Now I got to pay another $4,000 on top of the 10,000. So I think we need to rework.
I mean, the intent was to prevent another Burger King so that we're not losing heritage trees.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we need to rework
Okay.
the replacement if we can't fit them on your property.
Okay.
All right.
You mean to,
The upcharge of a fee in lieu. Yeah.
In here that says anything about a fee in lieu and what the amount of the fee would be? Shouldn't that be in?
Yeah, that should be in there. And that's what I was asking, what the trees actually cost, that kind of stuff. So Chip, I think that we need to take it back and just look at it again
Yeah.
and
that's fine.
and come back with a better little solution on the back end.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Sure.
So we asked them to go back and bring it back again. Yeah.
I like the idea in principle. I know what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I just don't think the execution is going to be quite what we want.
Right. Mr. Edwards.
I know
Hello?
this didn't go the way Chip wanted tonight. I just want to put in a plug for Chip. He has done. Yeah, oh yeah. I get, but I just want to recognize, I mean, he has done some amazing things as the chair. And he's locating trees, he's identifying trees that need to be trimmed I just want to give a shout out to Chip because he really has done a lot of good things. And no reflection on, it just didn't go his way, that's all.
It's not to your point.
Yeah.
I've worked with him now for the last couple months.
Yeah.
And he does everything Don says. It's too hard to explain to a resident that's going to have to take down a tree. And to his point, 10 grand. And then if I can't fit, that many trees on my property, then I'm going to get whacked again for another 4 grand and that kind of stuff. So it's a double whammy.
Can I
get
make a suggestion?
Yeah, sure.
If the tree is dead, if I had a big walnut behind, right, too, and they were not dead, and technically I don't know if they were really on the neighbor's lawn or mine, whatever. He cut them down because he didn't want them there. Let's pretend they were on my property. I just didn't want them there, so I cut them down. Yes, fine me, give me all kinds of trouble, make me plant 12 more trees. If my tree is dead, if I'm a landlord and my tree is dead, but it's leaning towards the neighbor's property, technically, what do I care? It's going to fall on their property. Their insurance is going to cover it. Like, I don't care. I'm going to leave it there until it falls down. We need to encourage those people to clean up the trees and take it down. So maybe we think about that too.
Chip, come on up, Chip. So Chip.
I was just trying to be nice to Chip. I didn't mean to prolong the conversation.
That's all right, Don. No good deed goes unpunished. Just remember that.
I don't fully understand this, but I think there's a complication because it's private property and you can only require certain things. I know what we're proposing, Kristen was okay with, but I know she's concerned about what you can tell people to do on private property and what you can't. So that may be an issue we have trouble with. Yeah.
That's where I'm stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to do it. We just need to do it a different way. Thank you. What do you guys want for breakfast? I'll order from Burger King. Okay, just asking. All right. B, motion to approve intergovernmental agreement with West Goshen Township for maintenance of roads. Review the agreement of road maintenance. Look at, hold on. Look who's coming up now. Mr.
Can I proceed?
Anderson.
Can I
Yeah,
proceed? Thank you,
please.
sir. This is just an agreement with us in West Goshen Township for the roads that, that butt up against us. Rosedale Avenue, Balmar Street, and also Goshen Road. Basically, what it basically says is who's responsible for maintaining what section of the road. Bill, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, so we can see that map, give us a better idea of what I'm talking about here. All right, here we go, right here. As you can see, you got Goshen Road. Everything that's in brown is actually the boroughs area to maintain. We have Franklin Street down to Pottstown Pike. Also on Balmar Street, we have from Union down to Gay Street. And then on Rosedale Avenue, we have everything from Church Street down to the Rosedale development. The stars that you see there are actually for our traffic signal boxes. The brown ones are ours. The square boxes in blue are West Goshen's responsibility. All we're doing is kind of like, no, hold on, let me back up. Kristen Kemp drew up this thing so that we can agree for what part of the road that we're responsible for. So that's all it's about.
You're talking about the length of the road, not the width, like for Rosedale, right?
Well,
Rosedale is divided in half, right?
no. That's a misconception for most people.
Okay,
Most people believe that one side of the road is West Goshen Township in this situation, and the other side is Westchester Borough. It's actually based block to block. So in other words, on Rosedale Avenue, we have everything from Church Street all the way down into Rosedale Development. West Goshen Township has everything on Rosedale Avenue, which is traveling west all the way down to Bradford Avenue. So it's divided not in half. The road's not divided in half. It's segments of road is how it's divided.
got it.
Got it?
Okay, yeah.
Y'all agree?
I didn't know how you're going to divide. a
Everybody
road
just
in
shake
half.
their head. It's getting late,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right.
Complicated, but yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions for real, sir?
So in other words, you guys lift your snowplow up and stop.
I've seen it happen.
Oh, just checking, just
I've
checking.
seen it happen. But all that comes into play, like for liquid fuels money
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Also snow plowing, any road maintenance, signs, anything like that.
right.
Okay?
All right, good. I have no problem. with it. It's good.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's a 3-0. All right, motion to approve the sale of 4 decommissioned police vehicles. Where have they been sitting? Over here, in the parking lot? Are you gonna put them on municipal bid, or do we already have a buyer for them? Or just go put them on municipal bid?
Yes.
Okay, any problems with that? No, that's good. Any other business? Daryl, you haven't gotten up. All right, we're okay to adjourn. Thank you.